I love you. Sorry, was that weak? I can't do it like really well consistently, to be honest. I can't do it well. I'm trying. That one was a good one. Alright, so we got some stuff. Some stuff.
Nothing but blood and death. Huh?
Oh shit. I'm trying to think of like if I can identify this. I don't think I can. I think they just made this handgun up. I can't think of like an analog that looks very close to it. It might be one of like it might be one of those like Eastern European handguns that like don't really make it to the US. So there's not many, but there's a couple of them that like people don't really know about here because they're just not available.
Pretty tough. Huh. Who the fuck are you? Oh, you're not local. Even better.
Yeah,
All the Miranda's gonna love you.
the first handgun I got was from the Czech Republic. It kind of looks similar to one of those handguns. It looks kind of like a CZ75 derivative. But that's like the closest thing I could match to it.
The man is of no real use to anyone else, and my daughters do so love entertaining foreigners. Furthermore, I can show that you entrust the mortal to house and trust. My daughters and I will deliver this.
Out of the way, ugly! I want to see! He's awake!
Frankie, shut the fuck up! What? Where? You mean you'll screw around with him in private? Where's the fun in that? Give him to me, and I'll put on a show that everybody can enjoy.
Ugh, so gauche. What do we care for bread and circuses? The man thinks suffering is assured.
Gag, as a man's dick is cut off in the castle, blah, blah.
I've heard all your arguments. Some of you were less persuasive than others, but I've made my decision. Heisenberg, the man's fate is in your hands.
Mother Miranda, I must protest. Heisenberg is but a child, and his devotion to you is questionable. Give the mortal to me, and I will ensure he is ready.
Shut your damn mouth! And don't be a sore loser! Go find your food somewhere else.
Quiet now, child. Adults are talking.
I'm the child. You're the one who's arguing with Miranda's decision.
You wouldn't know responsibility if it was welded
Oh,
to
keep growing! One day your head might actually fit your ego!
Fight, fight, fight!
Don't I get a say in this?
Silence!
My decision is final. It will be right. Remember from whence you came.
Thank you. Lycans and gentlemen, we thank you for waiting. And now let the games begin.
Let's see what you
Don't you think their dynamic is so childish?
Get ready. No way!
I think it's supposed to be like that. They're supposed to squabble with each other like children because they're supposed to be depicted as Mother Miranda's children.
4, 3,
You know?
2.
Yeah, exactly. They're supposed to be children of Miranda because she doesn't actually have her regular child.
That's right. Run for your life. Very nice.
This would kill you.
You're still alive?
I don't like this part because it puts the door in front of you. If it was behind you, it would have been more interesting.
My word. You truly are as strong as they say. Oh, no. They can't let you get away. Gotta keep Donna and Willow entertained. So now it's time for the feud. The Lost Grand Finale. Ha ha ha! Nothing like fresh American roast beef! Ha ha ha!
Too close. Wait, do those freaks have Rose?
There's like no way that it could just saw through his handcuffs either. So when the teeth are this far apart, and spinning with that much momentum, as it edges forward, it would impart a lot of like momentum. Like saw teeth, when you actually saw something like with the intention of sawing it, the teeth are very close together and very small, so that it actually removes material instead of like pushing the object out of the way. So that would, if you were to try to do that, you think, oh, I'm gonna break my handcuffs with the motion of this. What would actually happen is that it would kick your hands upward and then probably into the path of the spikes, rather than doing what you want it to do. It would probably lead to you killing yourself. I do like this segment. I wish it was a little bit longer. This reminds me a lot of like the Minotaur's labyrinth in Greek mythology, with the like there's not even really a whole lot else that can explain this. There's weird like corridor hallway things underground, and there's clearly no like this is not like a sewer or anything. This is literally just like a dungeon. Like, yeah, maybe this part could be storage, but like below, there's nothing that's being stored down there. I think it would have been interesting to see like one of the enemies make an appearance in like the last section of that, and then you have to like you're intended to run away or something. I don't know. Or maybe kill it with one of the spike things. I don't know. My aim's not bad in this one. It makes me look less bad at least. I don't know. Resident Evil 4 made my aim look so horrible because like the way that it is on the controller is
I've
just
been
different.
waiting for you, Mr. Winters.
How do you know my name?
Anyone who is anyone has heard of the likes of you. A hero searching for his daughter. Though I must say, that castle arouses suspicion.
Yeah, and so do you.
I am but a humble merchant.
Here?
Oh, forgive my manners. Call me the Duke. Now to business. Weapons, ammunition, healing salves, anything you desire, I can provide. Oh, good. I was just thinking I've prepared a special present for you.
So we do have all of these things because they're like extras. There's alright, so for the shotgun, there's this as its name implies, it was set in production in 1897. There's not like a whole ton of aftermarket stuff. This was largely before the era of aftermarket things. You could get customized stuff like engravings and stuff like that, but usually if you were to get an engraving, you'd actually send the gun that you already have out to a company that does firearm engraving, and then they would send you your own firearm back. You wouldn't just buy an engraved firearm with like usually some firearm companies did sell ones that were already engraved, um, but most did not. Like the shotgun that I have, the one before I bought the pump action, that one is engraved from the factory, but it's like it's from the 60s and it's like a very like light engraving. Um it I think I don't know. It may have been like a special one in some way. But this doesn't exist. There's no hair trigger. The trigger on this one is already like pretty decent, and it has some funny attributes where you can actually just hold the trigger down and continually pump the shotgun, and it'll just fire. Um, the pump action that I have and most other pump actions cannot do that. They have a trigger disconnect, just like self-loading firearms, like the handgun, and actually all of my firearms have a trigger disconnect in them. Um, the only firearms that you wouldn't find a trigger disconnect in would be like ones like this one, or the other revolver, or this one is fully automatic. So it even says right there, continuously when holding the trigger. Uh, but pretty much every other firearm mm, would have this trigger disconnect in it. So it's a bit of an anomaly, but it is kind of interesting. It's not particularly useful in uh, the way it is. If it was on like a more modern one and it didn't have a trigger disconnect, it would be more useful to maybe do that, to like hold the trigger down and then just pump twice or something for more output. But being that it's on a very old shotgun that isn't really designed for ergonomics or anything, it's not particularly useful. This revolver, it's called the BFR. Um, it's an interesting one. Not really, actually. It's not very interesting at all. But um, in a couple of ways, it's interesting. It does use some very large uh bullets. Some of them are chambered in rifle. It comes in a lot of different chamberings, and some of them are rifle bullets. But a lot of people fixate on that and don't actually know what that means. It even says in the description here, a monster weapon that uses sniper rifle rounds, making it more powerful than a magnum. So, in reality, putting a rifle round into a handgun, uh, even if you engineer the handgun to handle it, you're not gonna get better performance than you are out of the rifle that it's designed to be fired out of. The barrel length is shorter, and you can't get anything for free. So this is it's gonna have more power than like a handgun. This is a weird experimental thing that never got any traction. Um, I think that they just added it for novelty, I guess. I don't know. It's it's gonna be more powerful than this one, but it's not gonna be more powerful than the shotgun. Even though in the game it says this one has power of 560,
What are you buying? Just something an old friend of mine used to say.
and then it says this one has a power of 1400, and then the rifle here has a power of 250. In real life, this one would probably be most effective. It might be tied with this one in some calibers, but I mean, I guess this one could exceed it, but it wouldn't exceed it by the same factor. If these were compared to each other, this one in the most heavy calibers that it's chambered in, sold in, it would be like less than twice as powerful as this one. But anyway, let me think. We cannot afford anything useful, so... Oh, I could sell these things, though.
I'm buying this because of our relationship, you know.
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
Pay me no mind. Thank you for your...
The reason I say this one looks like a CZ75 derivative, I can't fucking... Here, there we go. Is because you see how the slide rides inside of the frame? You can see like right at the front. Maybe you don't notice it, but the top part, the slide, is inside of the frame instead of outside. You'll see when we find the other handgun what I'm talking about. There's another one that's in here, and the slide is on the outside. It's easier to understand when you have something to compare to.
Could Rose be here?
They looked normal before. Hold on, I forgot to make my phone not fall asleep. Okay. This is just like stuff explaining the puzzle.
Man blood.
One of the reasons why Ethan is not a character of idolization, worthy of idolization. Why does he just stand there and
Mother,
let them
I
push
bring you
let
fresh
them push him down
You are so
and then
kind to
let
me,
them hook his legs? Like,
Now,
doesn't even
let's
move,
take a look.
doesn't even try to move. Like, really?
wow. Well, Ethan Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you
Yes, mothers.
Starting to go a little stale.
Then let's devour his man flesh quickly, Mother.
I am the one who captured him.
Now, daughters. First, I must inform Mother Miranda. But later, well, There will be enough for everyone. Urema!
B plus what?
Oh, be careful what you wish for, Ethan Winters.
Wait, what are you doing?
What do you mean B plus? This part also doesn't make sense. Oh.
Crazy creatures.
So like, it doesn't make sense on several accounts. First of all, before we get to the physics of pulling yourself off of hooks, that are like in like first of all, why do they have this healing antiseptic fluid thing? Like I'm permitting that it exists, even though obviously it doesn't make sense scientifically. But even if we pretend that it works, like it heals you, you know, why do they have this? Because she's a vampire who can recover and transform her body and stuff like that. And the other ones are bugs who can also transform their bodies and recover and stuff like that, like through the what is it? The the thing with the M. I forget what it's called. The Megamycete thing. Like, neither of them can use this. So why is it here? And then, second of all, to pull yourself off of hooks like this, like, for that to work, you would have to, like, you'd have to swing or something to get more force than you're already providing just from gravity, you know? Because he's to pull on the hooks, to pull them out, to pull them through his hand. You need to push against something. He's not like pushing against the ceiling or anything, you know? He's just hanging here by the hands themselves. So there's no way for him to like pull them through his hand without him pushing on another object to provide that force. It doesn't make any sense. They eat some weird shit. And then I'm not a fan of this. Like, oh boy, it's locked, and then I have no idea what this is supposed to be depicting. I don't like this because this is literally Resident Evil 7. The puzzle for that one. Like, really? Why would you include that? So like he can't do a pulling motion. He can't do a pulling motion because his feet are not grounded on anything. Like if you uh if you were to pull on a door, you pull and then at some point you have to like step back and like use the friction of your shoes to continue pulling, you know? Because you need something else. You can't just pull into like air. There has to be some sort of like secondary thing for the force to. So like you're trying to apply the force and your muscles can do that, but your muscles can't float on something, you know? They can't just float and apply. Like if you imagine you were in space, no gravity, but you're in a spacesuit. If you were to if you were to try and pull a door, you would be brought towards the door because your muscles are contracting, but nothing is holding you in place. Something is holding the door in place, but nothing is holding you in place. Similarly speaking, if he was to make a pulling motion while his hands are hooked to the ceiling, making the pulling motion with those hands would just lift him up. It wouldn't free the hooks out of his hand. It wouldn't change the force on the hooks at all. It would just like the only way he can do that is to build momentum by like swinging will add force to it because there's gonna be centrifugal force away from the chain, or he could he could do like a pull up on the hooks and then drop himself, and that momentum building up from accelerating down would be additional onto the hooks. But there's no way he can just like pull them out like just like hanging there. It doesn't make sense.
Where have they taken Rose?
Oh, we meet again.
Duke? Why are you here?
Where there's coin to be made. And have you found your daughter?
No.
If she is truly here, the lady of the castle would have kept little Rose in her private chambers, would she not?
Dimitrescu?
The very same. Why don't you take a look? Maybe you'll get lucky. And speaking of looking, care to make a purchase?
I think that we don't have enough to buy anything, but let's save. Wait a sec, is this the right one? Yeah.
Embrace your journey and just watch. Taken alive, dead,
It took me forever to find. I kept running in circles in that room the first time. I didn't realize that there was like a hole in it that was like, I don't know. I didn't see the prompt and I didn't notice that it was like dilapidated in that like little spot. I was trying to fight her, like, I don't know. So like it says they shrieked shut it now, and we know that they don't survive in the cold temperature, but it would be a very impressive feat, don't you think, if they were able to heat this whole brick stone castle to like a warm temperature when it's surrounded by snow? Don't you think that like a lot of areas would still be very like chilly, like 50 Fahrenheit, which is like 10, 12 C, 10, 12, 13 degrees Celsius. I think that it would be incredibly difficult for them to heat an entire stone castle in this area, like that warm, even with like the candles and the torches aiding with the heat distribution. I also think that we don't need stuff like this, especially in the room that it's like it's kind of obvious what to do when you see two unlit uh sconces. Sconce is the word that I was looking for the other time, by the way. The bowl of fuel. This thing. One of the things I think the game did well is the what's that one about? 16th century furries? Like these ones are relatively normal. Besides, I mean, the obvious stuff relating to torture, but like why this one? Anyway, one of the things I think it did well is like the ambient noises, just random things Not like this, because this is an apparition, like I said, technically. But the, just the ambient noises, like if you pay attention, if we hold still. You can hear creaking and like dripping and stuff like that in the background, and just like bumps and stuff like that. I think it makes for a very like apprehensive atmosphere. Is that the right word? Apprehensive? I don't know. Something. Where you're anticipating something and you're like unsure of like when it's like very high strung, when you're like paranoid. This bit doesn't make sense because there's no wind in here, so why are they swinging? Yeah, we can save up ahead. Well, if you want to go sleep, while it's playing in the background, you can, but I know that you don't always like to do that because some games have like more noise. This one is what I was talking about. So like now you can hear the enemy in the next room, and I think it's it keeps the tension really nicely after we've just like gone through a bunch of cells with like bodies and stuff like that. And you can't we know it's in the next room because we've been here before, not in this playthrough, but like we've played the game before and stuff like that. But like on your initial play, you can't really tell where you're gonna see it. Like at this point, you know it's right over here, but I love you too. You'll listen, or if you have something to do, it's okay. I don't have anything to do. I'm just gonna. I don't have anything to do. I just. I'm gonna. I'm gonna not corner myself here. All I have to do is, I have to look at some Black Friday deal stuff. This is what people with hijabs look like, just for the record. Anyway, what's it? All I have to do is like go look at some Black Friday deals and fuck. I tried to look past. And then I have to look at like the job stuff, but I have plenty of time to do that. Bro, that's so huge. Ah, I shouldn't have done that. Hold on, hold on. We could make ammo, can't we? Something. Okay. So that's Ingrid's necklace. The one that we saw in the note. Oh, I hear more of them. I really do like this, crafting type, because you don't actually have to have space for the resources in here to make, like in Resident Evil 4, you had to have space, in here for the resources to make the items. And I think that if you're gonna do that, you need like a much greater ratio of resources to item, like, output. Like, right now it costs 1 herb and 1 chem fluid to make 1 healing first aid medicine. If you're gonna force people to hold the resources in their thing, then it's not gonna be worth it for them to actually carry the resources instead of just crafting the items immediately, unless there's like a high payout. Like unless you can make like 2 for every 1 herb and 1 chem fluid. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, you might as well just craft them all, because what I'm saying is, like, in the inventory, if you're gonna force people to hold the resources in here, then 1 herb would fit here, and 1 chem fluid would fit here. And when you craft them, it makes a 2-slot thing anyway, so you might as well. Instead of having them in separate slots, because it would take up the same amount of space. And it would be ready to use. So I don't really, I don't like that about the Resident Evil 4. I like the realism of, like, you can't just carry an entire world in your inventory, like, resource-wise. But it has some drawbacks, and I don't think that they did it very well in Resident Evil 4. Because of that thing that I just mentioned, because of the ratio between the payout, like the output, and the construction cost. Alright, so I'm gonna fire this last round, and then notice how the slide is forward right now? And then, oh wait, you're just listening though, aren't you? You're not watching anymore? Ah, if I fire this, the slide locks back. Because, at the end of the... maybe I shouldn't explain this part. Okay, so... No. This is gonna be too complicated for you. I can explain it when I show you it or something. But all you have to know is that the slide locks back when you fire the last one. That is the case for most self-loading handguns. And then it shows that you're empty. You can see physically into the chamber. Even in this one, you can see into the chamber in the game. And then just the slide being back like that means that you are probably empty. There is potential other reason for it, like if you have some sort of jam, it could appear the same way, but you would be able to see into the ejection port like we can here, and you'd be able to see if something is jammed or not. But it locks back so that what all you have to do is drop the empty mag, put the new mag in with ammo in it, and then drop the slide. When you release the slide forward, it will start that process over again, the process that we talked about with the 6 steps, the feeding and so forth. So rather than having to pull the slide back by hand and then let it go forward, which is not a huge deal, but it kind of it saves a little bit of time, and it saves the most time by giving you the indication that it's empty already.
A healthy man's blood. I can't wait. Where are you going, little one? Bullets cannot harm.
So,
You stupid man thing! I feel no pain. My body is breaking.
that's enough H.
Not like this. Move your hands. Impertinent man.
It's difficult to block
Your
fast.
teeth at eyes.
Okay. So, if you look at, or if you notice during the cutscene, where she grabs us right here and throws us on the ground, and he shoots her in the head a few times, like point blank. Number one, that's called a contact shot, when you actually press the muzzle against the target. And that's just terminology. There's no point that I was going to make with that. But the point that I was going to make is that he does that with his right hand, and she's on top of him, and he's facing this way. So there's no way that the bullets could have gone through her head and into this pane of glass here. They would have gone over here. So I'm not exactly sure as to why, this is from the shotgun, this is not from the cutscene. But, I'm not exactly sure why they decided to do that, because they could have just as easily, like, made it so that she pins him against this wall like this, and then he shoots with his right hand through the left side of her head to her right side, which would then exit out of the window. It would have been so simple and easy to do that, but like they didn't do that, which is just odd. Um, and I think that they didn't do that because they don't think about continuity, like, which is one of the things that I don't like. Like, yeah, like you said, the graphics are good. I agree that the graphics are good, but a lot of the other things are lackluster. I think that's everything. Oh, it says that's not everything though. So, if you ever would load a shotgun, it would be incredibly... Like, we haven't even upgraded the, like, reloading speed thing from the guy, the merchant, and he still loads it like crazy fast. That is, like, super... There's no, like... You would be like a world champion. Maybe not world champion. But you would be like a really competitive shooter if you could reload a shotgun that fast. I am going to look at that part, and I don't know if you're watching, but if by chance you are, fuck, I can't rotate it though. It only lets me zoom in and out. Hold on. Maybe we can rotate it on the Alright, so if you are watching, and if not, it's okay. But if you are watching, and not just listening, then, we just got a compensator. It says in the lower right, recoil compensator, customizable part for increased firepower. Um, that's not what it does at all. That has nothing to do with anything. In reality, you see how it has a bunch of ports in it, a bunch of slots cut into it, and it's directly in front of the barrel. Um, Essentially, if you slow down time, like if you if you looked through like a super duper slow-mo camera, uh, at some point, I'm trying to center it on the screen. At some point, um, the bullet will have passed through almost all of the barrel. Actually, no. Let's say at some point the bullet will have passed through the entire barrel, um, like outside of this compensator device. So it's just gone to right here, in the center of the screen, and it's now entering the compensator. Now, at some point, the bullet will pass these holes, and it will essentially seal. It'll still be in the compensator, in front of the holes, but because it's blocking the muzzle, like the actual exit of the barrel from the front, it is directing very momentarily, very, very briefly. It is directing the expanding gases from behind it out these ports, these cuts in this block of metal. And um, obviously, it's going to pass all three of these slots very quickly because it's a bullet. But it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to persist there for very long to produce enough. Uh, enough to redirect enough gases towards the sides. And what happens then is that gases come out of the sides, and they come out and they jettison like the whole gun towards the center, which means that any any rise that the gun had due to recoil, any, you know, kickback will be negated. Um, Not like inherently, but like uh, a lot of it will be negated. And it will depend on other things like how the compensator is designed, um, and other stuff as to how effective it is, how much of a reduction in recoil you get from it. But that's the general idea.
Shall I give you the tour? My throat, it's so dry.
Thanks to your consistent patronage, I've expanded my services.
She has some
Seeking something in
interesting
particular?
voice lines.
I'm skilled at all sorts of weapons modifications, and will do them for a small fee. Dissatisfied? I believe this is a fair price.
So like you can upgrade reload speed, which is not obviously a real thing. You can get stuff that makes reloading faster, like a speed loader or other things, but you can't like, there's nothing you can like adjust on a gun or like tune or anything that makes it just able to reload faster. It's more about your ability than anything, but a few things can make it easier so that you need less skill, in the sense that you need it's more plausible for you to do it under stress and stuff like that, rather than
This simple modification can be done
having
in
to
just
do
a moment.
something very difficult, like just spur of the moment. Like if you like, a lot of handguns have a flared mag well, which means that it widens towards the bottom. So where you insert the magazine is called the magazine well, and if it's wider towards the bottom, it essentially funnels the magazine into it. Where it normally would just be like a tube, essentially, where it's like a 1-to-1, it's like parallel, you put it in the bottom and you push up, and there's no like shape difference. But some guns have a flared magwell where it's wider at the bottom, so that if you don't put it in at the exact, like, completely perpendicular, if you put it in slightly at an angle, it will still slide in to the right position, because it's like a funnel. I don't know if I should upgrade this one that much, because I kind of like the other one better. I'm not going to upgrade it that much.
Uh-huh.
I'll get this. I wasn't getting it
This one makes
before
itself useful. Thank you
because
for your patronage.
I didn't get it before because it does take up an extra slot, but then we just got more inventory. And I think we're gonna have plenty of space. The thing about it is that I don't think you can yeah, you can't like throw this one away or like do anything. You can't like you can't get rid of it, the kitchen knife. So like you do have to carry both of them if you elect to do that. Which is why I didn't do it before, but I think we might end up using it a fair bit, so I'm gonna leave it on. And I'm going to shortcut this to down because it should not be left. Doesn't make sense. It's a nice knife. I don't know exactly what it's based on, but it reminds me of a certain knife. I can send you it later. I think Karambit is a German design, but essentially it's based on like talons in nature have that curve to them. Oh shit, you fucking scared the I didn't expect that. No, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck off of me. I did not expect that. Let me think.
Welcome. Good day then.
Did we save since we did that? I think we did. We did probably do that, but it's fine. I think if they had organized the game in a different way, where the castle was like the last area instead of the second area right after the village, it would have at least shaken up a couple things, like compared to Resident Evil 4, at least a little bit. We don't have another lockpick, do we? No. There's literally, like, you would have to be Helen Keller to, like, not notice someone entering some big-ass metal doors. Not even a whole floor below you, but half a floor. While you're on the, like, the side facing them, like, the side of the stairs facing them, like, I really don't like, that kind of thing, because that kind of thing breaks the immersions, like, really, really badly. You have to make something believable to make it scary. It's very similar to another, there's an adage, only accurate guns are interesting. If it doesn't have that fundamental part to it, like, you can't build anything off of it, you know? There can't be any anything after that if you don't do that. And like in this area, we just saw her in a way where she cannot hurt us, and you don't necessarily know that off the like your first playthrough. Maybe you think she can hurt you, but like no matter how much you do up here, she won't come out. And I don't know, you seeing her in that instance, like in that way, is just right. I don't know. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. It really hurts. It hurts the immersiveness. I'm sure that is exactly what I think it is. What is it? Because the reason I say that is because, like, the specifics of the castle are like very different from the Resident Evil 4 castle. Like here, and you can actually see like the how detailed like the graphics are on the water, where it actually will like the ripples. Some parts do um not get dry, but like they go above the surface level of the. It's not water. It's like blood and water, but still. Um, I just think that if they were in a different order, it would have really been more interesting. It would have been at least less repetitive. I don't think it needs to put loot on the surface of the water. I understand that it will get lost beneath the surface. People will walk past things. But it already gives you a prompt when you're close enough to it, so I really don't think that we need to do that. Making it float on top of the water really just makes it look cheesy and reminds you that it's a video game. Like, we know it's a game. You don't have to have gamey aspects in it to remind us that it's a game. We already know. The best thing you can do is to like ignore it, you know. This next part is also... I don't know, are you still awake? Really quick, tell me if you are. Because if you're not, then we could just save it here. But if you are, then we can continue. Alright, I think that you're asleep. Relatively sure. Not fully sure, but I think that you are. So, I saved it. And I'll end the stream. I hope you're resting well and stuff.